Hello MotoGP fans, welcome back to ZNGP Today. The 2025 MotoGP season is finally underway, with track action resuming at the Sepang Shakedown Test. While the full grid will take to the circuit next week for the official Sepang Test, this exclusive session is reserved for test riders, rookies, and manufacturers with concessions. Day 1 of the shakedown saw KTM's Pol Espargaró setting the pace, but the biggest surprise came from rookie Ai Ogura, who secured an impressive second place on his Aprilia. With the 2025 MotoGP season fast approaching, all eyes are on the explosive new pairing at Ducati, Francesco Bagnaia and Marc Márquez. As two of the strongest contenders for the title, their dynamic inside the Ducati Lenovo Team will be one of the biggest storylines of the year.MotoGP legend Valentino Rossi, a longtime mentor to Bagnaia, has weighed in on the situation. In a recent interview, the 9-time world champion shared his advice for Pecco, warning him not to fall into Márquez's mind games and urging him to focus on securing consistent points throughout the season. As Yamaha gears up for the 2025 MotoGP season, speculation continues about its potential switch to a V4 engine, a radical departure from the inline-4 philosophy that has defined its modern-era machines. However, during Yamaha's team launch event in Kuala Lumpur, its factory riders remain tight-lipped about the V4's development timeline, making it clear that their focus remains on the current M1 for now. Despite the excitement surrounding this possible engine revolution, test riders, not race riders, will be responsible for developing the V4. Let's take a closer look at what this means for Yamaha's immediate future. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. The shakedown test began at 10 a.m. local time, though the first official lap times weren't recorded until 11:30 a.m. From the start, Pol Espargaró took control, setting the fastest lap on his KTM with a 2 minutes and 1.105 seconds. Close behind was Augusto Fernandez, making his debut as a Yamaha test rider. The Yamaha and Pramac racing riders were absent from the session, as they were attending their official team presentation in Kuala Lumpur. Meanwhile, the MotoGP rookies, Fermin Aldeguer, Samkiat Chantra, and Ai Ogura, were all within the top positions, getting their first real feel for premier-class machinery. At Aprilia, test rider Lorenzo Salvadori was heavily involved in setup work, as the RSGP 2025 is set for a major update ahead of the official test. Over at Ducati, Michel Pirro was laying the groundwork for the GP25, which will later be handed over to Marc Márquez and Fabio Di Giannantonio. As the session progressed, Dani Pedrosa took over the top spot, becoming the first rider to break the 2-minute barrier with a 1 minute and 59.926 seconds at 12:20 p.m. local time. Behind him were Pol Espargaró and Augusto Fernandez, with Fermin Aldeguer emerging as the fastest rookie at that point. Shortly after, Honda finally joined the session, with Takaki Nakagami moving up to second place before the mid-morning break. Ai Ogura impressed by securing third, putting Aprilia in contention among the more experienced riders. Following the lunch break, Pedrosa remained in control, but Nakagami surged to the top, briefly holding first place. However, track activity slowed down as light rain started to fall, forcing many riders into the pits. With limited running in the final hour due to damp conditions, Pol Espargaró reclaimed the top position, closing the session with the fastest time. The biggest surprise of the day came from Ai Ogura, who finished second overall, just 0.171s behind Espargaró. Nakagami followed in third, making it a strong showing for Honda, while Pedrosa and Aldeguer rounded out the top 5. Further down the order, the Yamaha riders, Ducati's Pirro, and Aprilia's Salvadori focused more on development rather than outright lap times. While today's test results aren't necessarily indicative of race pace, they offer early signs of competitiveness for both rookies and test riders. With day 1 of the Sepang Shakedown Test in the books, Pol Espargaró leads the timesheets, but the real story is Ai Ogura's impressive second-place finish on Aprilia. With 2 more days of testing ahead, the focus will remain on development work, track conditions, and the performance of the rookies before the full MotoGP grid arrives for the official Sepang Test next week. Ducati enters 2025 as the clear favorite, with the new GP25 expected to be the most dominant bike on the grid. With Bagnaia as a 2-time MotoGP champion and Márquez eager to reclaim his former glory, expectations are sky-high for the Italian manufacturer. Bagnaia, known for his clean and calculated racing style, will be looking to bounce back after losing the 2024 title. Meanwhile, Márquez, who joins Ducati after a transition year with Gresini, is determined to shake up the team's hierarchy and chase his 9th World Championship. Ducati management insists they can handle the tension, but many in the paddock believe conflict is inevitable. With Bagnaia being Rossi's most successful protégé, some even speculate that the legendary rivalry between Rossi and Márquez could indirectly reignite. Speaking to Corriere della Sera, Rossi did not hold back when asked about the potential battle between his protégé and his longtime rival. His advice for Bagnaia was clear. There are days when you have to win and days when you have to bring home points. Pecco has never done that, otherwise he would have won even the 3rd World Championship. Quote from Rossi. The former champion emphasized that Márquez is a master of psychological warfare and that Bagnaia should stay focused on his own performance rather than getting drawn into unnecessary risks. Don't fall into traps, into mind games. Don't let yourself be conditioned by your teammate. In duels, have fun and try the impossible. With Bagnaia still learning to balance aggression with consistency, Rossi's words serve as a strategic warning ahead of what could be one of the most intense teammate battles in recent MotoGP history. Rossi also reflected on his own fierce rivalries over the years, including battles with Jorge Lorenzo, Casey Stoner, and Seat Gibberno. While tensions ran high on the track, the Italian legend admitted that over time, respect has replaced animosity. Racing against another rider involves a very strong sporting hatred. But when you let go, there is still respect for those who have shared emotions and tensions with you. When I see Seat Gibberno or Jorge Lorenzo again, I feel pleasure. Opponents who have never exceeded a certain limit of aggressiveness. Now 46 years old, Rossi is balancing his role as a team owner, mentor, and endurance racer. While still chasing adrenaline in car racing, he acknowledged the difference in safety between 2 and 4 wheels. In MotoGP, before the start, you are tense, you face fear. It's an incomparable adrenaline rush. In cars, drivers are almost always rich people who pay to race, while motorcycle riders are fugitives, who maybe get rich racing. Rossi concluded. As Ducati prepares for an explosive 2025 season, Valentino Rossi's words of wisdom could prove crucial for Bagnaia. With Márquez's reputation for psychological tactics, the reigning champion will need to stay composed and focused to defend his title. With the season opener in Thailand less than a month away, the tension inside the Ducati Lenovo team is already building. Will Bagnaia follow Rossi's advice, or will Márquez's presence disrupt Ducati's internal balance? The battle is just beginning. Yamaha has struggled in recent years to match the performance of its V4-powered rivals, particularly Ducati and KTM. In 2024, the M1's lack of acceleration and top speed was a key factor in Fabio Quartararo's difficulties, leading to a disappointing season for the former champion. To address these shortcomings, Yamaha announced last year that it was actively developing a V4 engine, marking a major shift in philosophy. This initiative is being led by technical director Max Bartolini, who joined the project with fresh ideas to rebuild Yamaha's competitiveness. However, no specific timeline has been given for the V4's official debut, and Yamaha's race riders have made it clear that their priority remains on the inline-4 M1 for now. At Yamaha's official launch event, both Fabio Quartararo and Miguel Oliveira were asked about the V4 project, but their responses were measured and cautious. Miguel Oliveira, now with Pramac Yamaha, stated, "My goal is to know this bike, to know this M1, and to work on the current project. That's where my focus is. I don't think it would be smart to think about something that doesn't exist yet. Meanwhile, Quartararo, who won the 2021 MotoGP title with Yamaha, warned against putting too much faith in a V4, pointing out that Honda also runs a V4 and has been struggling just as much. I think that everybody has put a lot of expectations on the V4, but I have no expectation because you can see Honda. Honda has a V4 and Honda is struggling the same as us, Quartararo told. The message from Yamaha's riders is clear. While the V4 project is exciting for the future, it won't be their concern in the short term. Yamaha does have one major advantage in 2025. As a concession manufacturer, it is allowed unlimited testing with its race riders, giving it more opportunities to refine the M1 and eventually introduce the V4. While Oliveira and Quartararo will focus on the inline 4, Yamaha has 3 dedicated test riders who will work on evaluating the V4. However, Quartararo admitted that he has no idea when the new engine will be ready, and he hasn't even asked about it. We have test riders for that. I think, and I'm sure they will have time to try the V4. When I have no idea, because I didn't even ask. Quartararo. For now, Yamaha's priority remains on extracting maximum performance from the M1, with testing set to begin at Sepang this Saturday as part of the preseason program. While Yamaha's long-term future could include a shift to a V4 engine, its race riders are fully focused on making the current M1 as competitive as possible. With no fixed timeline for the V4's debut, the priority remains on testing and refining the inline 4 for 2025. With the Sepang Test just days away, will Yamaha make progress with its current bike, or will the wait for a true breakthrough continue? The answers will begin to emerge soon. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today. This is your MotoGP news update. See you in the next video.